trouble. And bon voyage, the best time of year to travel to your honeymoon destination. So you want to make sure you pick that special and perfect date so you're able to travel. Ideal weather. If you're planning an outdoor wedding, when will it be the most pleasant for a garden ceremony or an open air reception or something that's outside or whatever? So you got to make sure your weather is ideal for you. Family availability, which is one of the most important ones. What timing works best for the people most important to you? Do you have holidays? Is someone pregnant? Or health limitations to consider? So you got to consider your family as well. That's only if you have your family coming. Some people get married in the courthouse and don't have anybody there but just a witness or something. But nah, most people want to have their family there. So you want to make sure you time that as well. Your favorite flower. What is your favorite flower in season? Choosing your wedding date to suit with increase the chances that this beautiful bloom can be included in your arrangements, because if you do it around winter time, there's not going to be a lot of flowers that's out, especially ones that the real pretty ones. You'll have to go to a florist or something like that. But other than that, you can actually just go out into the forest or out into a field or something and pick your favorite flower. So one, you want to make sure it's in season. Supplier availability. Find a dream venue or vendor. Keep your date flexible to guarantee a booking. You want to make sure the suppliers are available as well. Work commitments. When you have the right amount of time to leave, if you got a PTO or something like that, or you're able to take time off work. So you got to make sure your work commitments for the both of you is available also. Piggy bank, of course. What will you have enough savings for? What would you like to do? When will you have enough savings for what you would like to do? So you got to make sure that piggy bank is right. Done deal. You can snap up special rates at certain times of the year. So make sure you get like a really good deal on like a vendor or a venue or the actual honeymoon vacation or whatever. So you got to make sure you can snap up those special rates also. Lucky number. Do either of you have a number of special significance you would like to include? Adding, subtracting, or dividing your lucky numbers to create your wedding date is also a very big option also. Public holiday. Many guests will already have the time off or love the idea of recovery day on a long weekend. So make sure you have like a public holiday too, and consider that also. Breathing room. Do you want to spread out events like birthday, anniversary, and seasonal celebrations? You want to have a little bit of breathing room too. So don't make sure it's not like right near your birthday or another anniversary or something like that. Favorite time of the year. Do you love the idea of roaring fires and cozy corners, or is it spring more your style? If you feel a connection to a particular time of year, why not make it extra special with the addition of your wedding? Sometimes practical consideration will win over romantic idea, and that's perfectly okay. The date you choose will become special and significant once you are married. So get your date locked in. It's time to check out your essentials of your wedding. So that's the breakdown of like picking your venue. Picking your date. Number 2 is, like I said, the first 2 of 10 is find a venue. Things to consider before choosing a wedding venue. While each and every wedding related decision plays a part in crafting your big day, there are a few choices that make a bigger impact than others. One of the biggest is your venue. Your party space has the ability to set your wedding's tone, which is why choosing your site wisely is absolutely imperative. No pressure, right? According to several of the wedding industry's most lauded planners, there doesn't have to be, especially with their tips at your disposal. To help you navigate this integral wedding planning decision, we teamed up with some of the top planners in the country and put together a list of essential factors to consider when selecting a wedding venue. From starting early, aim to begin your search at least a year out, to selecting a location that suits your wedding style. Are you planning a classic, bohemian, rustic event? These criteria will ultimately make or break any prospective venues. They'll help you formulate questions ahead of any tours and should also serve as a final checklist before you sign any contracts. In the end, it's all about making sure that the venue you choose ticks all of the boxes or checks all of the boxes. It should also fit into your budget as well. While not all of these elements revolve around money management, you'll notice that many are designing to help you get the most bang for your buck. That means paying attention to venue package types. Will this vendor provide space, food, drink, and its overall capacity? Are you wasting money on space you don't need? Ahead of the rest of the wedding venue questions answered. Your ultimate wedding planning timeline. Choosing a venue will be one of the first planning moves you make, so you'll likely want to kick off your search on the earlier side. But, it comes down to your personal preference. If you are particular when it comes to the venue, the earlier the better. Says, Wendy of Birds of a Feather Events. Great venues get booked up to 12 to 18 months in advance. So the sooner you get started, the more likely you are to snag your first choice. That goes with all your vendors as well. How to choose the right wedding date. Speaking of timelines, what comes first? Picking a wedding date or choosing a venue? It ultimately depends on what is more important to you. Getting married during a particular time of year or nabbing the venue of your dreams. Lynn Easton of Easton Events suggests going into the venue search with two ranges of dates. Ones that work, a favorite season perhaps, and ones that don't, holidays or other conflicting family events you like to avoid, if your timeline takes precedent. But according to Gold Leaf Events, Kate Ryan and Chelsea Dillon, the majority of couples choose a venue first. Once you have that location, the date will follow based on availability. If a date is selected first, we found more clients limit their venue options drastically. All right, number of events. Questions you should ask while touring venues. Some couples scout two different types of venues, one for their ceremony and one for their reception. Wow, the majority of brides and grooms stick with just one. It's easier on both your budget and your guests. Plenty, including those tying the knot at a place or worship, says Tara Gerard, will require two. If you fall into the latter camp, keep the following in mind, says wedding planner and event designer Jessica Sloan. It's important to know the travel time from one venue to the next so you can plan your event start times accordingly and set a date of schedule that is accurate for your vendors to follow. Also take into consideration which location you'll use for pictures. Location. 3 things to think about for out-of-town guests. Beyond a destination wedding, where some element of travel is built into the event, you'll want to be aware of your venue's accessibility. Can it be easily reached, or is it out of the way? Will directions be straightforward enough for out-of-town guests who are unfamiliar with the area to make sense of? These factors become especially important if you do, in fact, end up with 2 venues. Now, the importance of making the transition from point A to point B as seamless as possible you want to make for them. After all, lost guests mean an empty cocktail hour. Style, your guide to wedding styles for event planner Calder Clark. Choosing a space that meshes with your vision are priority number 1. Ultimately, your venue style comes down to personal preference and who you are as a bride. Classic fiancés often gravitate towards indoor venues like hotels, ballrooms, country clubs. Are you planning an event right with rustic decor? In Bloom Garden or winery with panoramic views. Bohemian brides are the most likely to create their own venue. They usually choose wide open spaces and build a venue from scratch with string lights defining the space. Capacity. Possible wedding cocktail hour. You would just want to make sure you have the capacity to be able to hold everyone in there, depending on your guest list and how many people you end up inviting. Now, that is my first 2 of my 10 steps of planning your wedding. I hope that helped out a little bit. If you missed anything I said, go back, listen to it. It'll be all available on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Podcast Chaser, Podcast Addict, and also Jail Saving. So go back and listen to it. Once it's uploaded, it'll be uploaded a little bit later tonight. But this, like I said, this is live right now. So if you missed anything, go back and listen to it. Download it. Make sure you follow along, because this is really good information for planning your wedding. Now, like I said, we're getting into music. This is weddings, music, and wine. And this is the music portion. This is the real cool, laid back, not like my other podcast that I used to have. So a possible wedding cocktail hour song. Most cocktail hour songs are serene, relaxing, since everyone is mingling, drinking on some good drinks and getting ready to eat. So you want to keep it calm and smooth. Now, here's a possible nice, laid back, funky kind of sort of instrumental named Happy Sense. Listen in.
This is DJ Nuu, the most interesting DJ in the world.
Are you ready? This is